I can see some problem. Can everyone hear now?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Just give me 1 minute. There is a small problem. So last week, we discussed the meeting, Pundrik Vidya, Gadadhar Pandit meeting Pundrik Vidya Nadi. And, we'll continue with this. Lord Chaitanya, what is that? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Yuga Avatar, he came to experience Radha Bhav. Radha Krishna Pranay Vikrit Rahladani Shakti Rasmat. Ekatmano Abhibhupura Dehavetu Gatat. The loving past, the pastimes of Radha Krishna Leela is a manifestation of internal energy. Ahladani Shakti. Radha Krishna Ekatma Duhi Dehatari. Anyonya Vilasarasa Aswadana Kori. So just give me, 1 minute. Yeah. This small problem So Krishna, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself who came to experience Radha Bhav. Now because he is Yuga Avatar, he also gave the Harinam Sankirtan. He came to spread Harinam Sankirtan. Internally, he came to experience the Radha Bhava. And externally, as Yuga Avatar, he came to distribute the Harinam. And one point everyone should, all the Vaishnava devotees should remember is, he came to give what no incarnation has not ever done. What is that? He came to give Krishna Prema. That's why Lord Rupa Goswami, when he met him in Ramkeli, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Can give Krishna Prema. What Brahma and Shiva are looking for, he came to give that. So so one day, Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya came to the home of Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya came to, home of Srivas Thakur, where Nityananda Prabhu was present. Nityananda Prabhu was like a very avadhuta. His behavior is very unpredictable. He would not even eat. Mother Malini, she would feed him like a mother. So one day Lord Chaitanya came to discuss Krishna Katha in the home of Srivas with Srivas Thakur. So Lord Chaitanya wanted to test Srivas Thakur. Oh Srivas, why are you keeping this Avadhut in your home? You don't know his caste. You don't know where he came from. You don't know his family background. And, so don't be too lenient. You may lose your reputation. If you really want to save, if you want to protect your, your family reputation, it's better you send him off. Srivas Pandit said, my lord, please don't test me like that. Nityananda Prabhu is your expansion. Who is Nityananda Prabhu? Sankarshana Karanato Sai Garbhota Sai Chapayad Sai. Seshashishyan's class Nityananda Kiram Saramust. Mayatite Vyapi Vaikuntaloke Shadeswarya Sri Chaturvyuh Madhya Rupam Vishwadbhavati Sankarishnakyam Tam Nityananda Rama Pravadya. So Mahavishnu, Garbhasa Vishnu, Kshirasa Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Garbhasa Vishnu, Kshirasa Vishnu, and Sankarshana, and Seshan Ananta Sesh. They're all they are all the expansions of Nityananda Prabhu. Please don't test me like this, my Lord. He's not different from you, and anyone who serves you, they'll become a master. Nityananda Prabhu is like a shadow. You're like your shadow. Even Nityananda Prabhu, what is that? If he becomes a drunkard, and if I lose everything because of his association, still, I will not think of abandoning him. I will keep on serving him, and I'll think of serving him and you. And Lord Chaitanya was very happy. Lord Chaitanya was very happy, and he said, "Oh, what Srivas, you have so much faith in Nityananda, amazing, so much love. You understood that, he is my dear, my associate. So let me tell you this, even if Mother Lakshmi may, Mother Lakshmi may become poor and go home to home for begging, you will never, you will never know what poverty is all about. Everyone in your home, pets, even all the relatives, dogs and cats, everyone, they'll get my full shelter. So, yes, take good care of Nityananda Prabhu. I leave him in your shelter. Can you believe? Nityananda Prabhu is the one who is sheltering all the universe on his head, but he doesn't have a place to stay. He stays in Srivas Thakur's home. So why? Because his mission is to preach. And preacher means no possessions. It depends on the grace of Krishna, mercy of Krishna. And he goes door to door and gives Krishna to others. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna Siksha, Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Pranadhan. That's what Nityananda Prabhu used to do. Nityananda Prabhu was very mischievous. He would go to, he would jump in Ganga and he would swim, and he would, he wanted to play with crocodiles. And sometimes he swept off in the waves of Ganga. Hare Krishna. What is that? Although this is very mysterious. One night, Mother Sachi, she had a dream. And she told Vishwambar, Srigaranga Mahaprabhu, my son, last night, yesterday I had a dream. I saw you and Nityananda, two boys. You're running and playing and fighting. I saw you, both of you, enter into the deity's room, our deity's room, puja room. And you came out with Krishna and Balram. You're holding Balram and Nityananda was holding Krishna. Then you start fighting each other. Krishna and Balram told you, hey, you imposters, cheaters, get out of here. This home belongs to us. All the yogurt, milk and the sweets, everything belongs to us. Go away from here. Nityananda said, guys, this is the, This time is not for the cowherd boys. So now you have become young Brahmins. So don't give up, give up this nature of give up your nature of control. It is our time. This is a time of young Brahmins. If you don't listen, so all this yogurt milk and sweet rice and sweets, they belong to us. If you don't give it up, let us fight. Hare Krishna. And Krishna Balaram replied, so we'll tie you up and we'll tie you up and we'll beat you up. Krishna is the, Balaram said, Krishna is Supreme Lord. So if you go against the wishes of Krishna, what happens? Nityananda said, who is scared of Krishna? My Lord and Master is Lord Gaurachandra, Vishwambhar. Then they start fighting each other, snatching the food from the hands and mouths, eating. Suddenly Nityananda called me, Mother, I'm hungry. Give me. And I woke up. I couldn't understand any dream. So now I'm telling you. Shri Guru Mahaprabhu laughed, smiled and said, that's a nice dream, Mother. Don't tell this to anybody. Actually, our Krishna deities in our home, Krishna Balaram, they're very powerful. Now I understand, I know they are very potent. I have been observing something very interesting, I didn't tell this to anybody. Whenever we offer food cooked by your daughter-in-law, Vishnupriya, when we offer the food, plate is half eaten. Only half is left. Initially, I doubted, I doubted my wife. I felt she was eating it. But now I understand. Our deities are eating it. Vishnupriya, she was hearing this, hearing the conversation of the mother and son, she smiled. So Shri Guranga Mahaprabhu said, Mother, then let me go and bring Nityananda over here. You can feed him. Mother Sachi agreed. And she went to cook. Nityananda, Lord Gaur, Shri Guranga Mahaprabhu went to bring Nityananda. Hey, please come today. We are making special offering to deities. But I request you, please do not misbehave. Nityananda said, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Vishnu, Vishnu. Who makes the people misbehave? You think I misbehave because that is what you do. So, and they laughed at each other and observed the talks of Krishna. So they washed their feet and they sat down to eat. Next to them, sat down side by side to eat. Gadadhar Pandit and other friends came. And they sat. Nityananda Prabhu and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu looked like Rama and Lakshman. And Mother Sachi was very happy. And what is that? So she so she put plates, and filled prasad in that plate. And when she returned, she saw two 5-year-old boy, 5-year-old boys sitting there. Where she saw where Nityananda and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu were sitting, she saw two boys. One is black in complexion, another was white in complexion, fair in complexion. They're beautiful. They were not wearing any clothes. They had 4 arms, holding a lotus conch disc and club. Hare Krishna. And on the Vishnu chest there is a Srivatsa, Kaustava jewel. And Balaram, he was holding a plow. He was holding a plow. And he saw Vishnupriya being situated on the chest of one of one of the children, that black boy. And she saw that, she saw this wonderful sight. She became ecstatic. And the tears rolled down, cascaded from her eyes, and she fainted. When she fainted, everything fell on the ground. Immediately, she got on, Mahaprabhu got up, Vishwambar got up, washed his hands and mouth, and went quickly, picked up his mother. Mother, what happened? Control. What did you, what happened? Why did you fall down? She woke up and she became conscious and she started crying. She was crying and she was shivering in ecstasy. And Ishan, her servant, he came and picked up all the remnants of food and he ate them all. Ishan was a very wonderful servant because he witnessed all these amazing pastimes in their home. He's a simple servant, but he was constantly in touch with the absolute truth. So when Gaur Chandra, inaugurated the congregational chanting, then what happened? All the devotees who appeared in the different parts of Bengal, they slowly joined. They came to Navadvip and they found the Supreme Lord had appeared and all the devotees joined. He would regularly visit the homes, of his devotees, and he would exhibit his four-handed form. He would go to Murari, he would see Murari Gupta, Gangadas Pandit, Srivas Thakur, and Nityananda was always with him. So different devotees, Lord Chaitanya revealed different forms to them. To somebody, it's fish incarnation, somebody Rahamat Vamana. So all the incarnations he would display. But sometimes he would be in the mood of gopis, internal. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Sometimes he would feel like Uddhav. Sometimes he would feel like Akrura. Sometimes like Balramji. Warani. Like Prahlad Maharaj offering prayers. Naishamadistavad Rukramangram. Sprasad Janardha Bhagamoetara Mahirasam Padarojabhishakam Nishkinchananam Nabraniti Yavat. So he would offer prayers to the Supreme Lord as Prahlad Maharaj. And so that way, he was giving pleasure to his devotees. He was also experiencing that joy for devotional service. Mother Sachi was extremely happy, but internally, she had this one doubt. What if my son, what if he leaves home? He may leave home also. Whenever they conversed, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu said only one thing to mother. Mother always chant Krishna's name. Chant Krishna's name. It's very important. One day what happened? In India, actually nowadays it has become less and less. In the olden days, people would come and beg, saying, devotees of some people, they would chant the name of Krishna, some people chant the name of Hari, some people chant the name of Shiva. And seeing their devotion, people would give food actually, would give them rice. So one day, one devotee of Lord Shiva came, singing the glories of Lord, was dancing. When Lord Chaitanya heard this, immediately appeared in the form of Lord Shiva, and he jumped on the shoulder of the, the singer. I am Shankar, I am Shankar, I am Shankar. And everyone was shocked. So then that Saivite was playing the Dhamuru. And that day, that person, he received the benefit of glorifying Lord Shiva without offenses. Why? The Supreme Lord sat on his shoulders. After some time, he came to his external consciousness, and they gave him alms, some rice, everything, So one day he told the devotees, why are you wasting night? He went to the devotees and said, from my devotees, brothers, why are you wasting, time is very precious, So let us chant the holy name. By chanting the holy name, we can awaken that flood of ecstasy, that it'll awaken in us like the flood of Ganga. So let the whole world be delivered by the holy name. And so the devotees agreed. No sleep. And then Lord Chaitanya started his Kirtan pastimes. Every night he would come to Shiva's Pandit and perform. Sometimes he would meet in Chandrasekhar Swami and perform. So they would come. All the devotees would come. Vizar Pandit, Advaitacharya, Nityanandro, Srivas Thakur, Sripati Srinidhi, Hiranya Haridas Thakur, Manumali, Nandana, Nandanacharya, Chaitanand Pandit, Buddhimandakan, Kashishwar, Vasudev, Rama, Gurudai, Govinda, Govindaram, Gopinath, Sriman, Sridhar, Sadashiva, Krishwar, all these devotees, they would come. And this Kirtan, Lord would perform. Wow, amazing. So 40 verses. Vrindavan Das explains the the ecstasies of the Lord. As soon as the kirtan would start, Lord would enter into the deep trance. He would become oblivious to the surroundings. And while dancing, he would jump up in the air. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. This tune actually, Tamal Krishna Maharaj brought it into ISKCON actually. He sang first time in Mayapur. And then probably a year later, I think he left the world. There's this song is actually also, there is one rag called Bhattiyari Rag. What is that? Mother Sachi, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was prepared to take sannyas and about to leave. She would sing in the Bhattiyari Rag. Anyway, what is that? When the kirtan would start, Lord will jump up in the air, crash on the ground. Devotees would be stunned in fear, Hare Krishna. Such a tender body, when you would fall on the ground, Mother Sachi would close her eyes. Oh, my Lord Krishna, please. I really do not know if I have done anything, if I've done any bhakti, please protect my son. She knew his son was in spiritual trance, but mother-in-law. So she did not know what to do. She said, when he would fall down, please make sure I don't know that. That's why Lord Chaitanya knew this. That's why what he would do, he gave that type of ecstasy to Mother Sachi when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu performed Kirtan. Mother Sachi was in a deep ecstasy and she was oblivious to the material world. And the Kirtan was loud, tumultuous, and Lord would dance. But sometimes he would be, I am the Supreme Lord, I am the Lord of Lords. Sometimes I am your servant. So especially, you dance on special days, Ekadasi, Dvadasi, what is that? The incarnations, the days, Vishnu Tattva incarnations, like Varaha Dvadasi, Vaman Dvadasi. Then what is that? Different Janmashtami, Ram Navami, all the festivals. He would do this in Shiva's Thakur home. And the devotees would, so they are groups. Shiva's Thakur headed one group, Mukunda another group, Govind another group, And when Lord would dance, Nityananda Prabhu would hold him actually. And sometimes Advaitacharya would take dust, And when the Lord would dance and cry, tears would cascade. Ganga is flowing. That time, Gadadhar Pandit, other devotees, they would exhibit, what is that? They would become ecstatic. Very interesting is, the whole name is sung in Bhattiyari Rag. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's how it would begin, and it would be intense. And he would cry for an hour. Lord Chaitanya would cry for an hour. And what is that? When he would cry for an hour. When he would laugh, and he would laugh, everyone would be affected. I'm servant, I'm Dasana, everyone. All the devotees say, I'm victorious. Yes, Haribol. He would become heavier than earth. The devotees could not lift him. Sometimes it would be like a feather, like a cotton, wool, and devotees would carry him around. And he would shiver, his teeth, as the teeth would fall down, like freezing cold. The next minute, you'd feel in a sweat. Hare Krishna. Sweat means what? We get 1 drop, 2 drops. But when he would sweat, Mother Ganga would flow from his body. Hare Krishna. Sometimes his body would become red hot. Even if you apply sandalwood paste, they would dry up just like that. You know? Sometimes he would lift his feet. You know? Sometimes he would lean against Nityananda Prabhu. So, when the Lord would dance intensely because of that weight, earth would quake, the earthquake would come, you'd get a feeling that, it's an earthquake. And sometimes, you dance like very gracefully, Krishna's dance, flute, sometimes the devotees you would see, he would walk in the air, Sometimes it would be like, red hot eyes. You would look at devotees, they would be scared. Right. So sometimes he would enter into the mood of Krishna, Shamsundar, and he would stand in threefold running. 3 hours he would stand like that, playing flute. Tribangi, and he would play on the flute. Hours. But when he would come out of the mood, he'll cry. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And I'm your servant, I'm Dasanadas. And sometimes he would bend his body like a wheel, his feet touching his head. Like this, he would stand for hours. Hare Krishna. That's why Sarvam Bhattacharya, he chants, what is that? My Lord, you dance chanting your own holy names. Urute surasam gata jivanam pranamami sachi sutta gauravaram. Arunam nayanam charanam vasanam vadane skalitam swakanamadaram. So you chant your own holy name and you become ecstatic. And that is your lifestyle. Hare Krishna. Sometimes you would roar. Sometimes you would fall on the ground and crash. Sometimes it's actually golden, but sometimes you would have put it multicolored. Sometimes devotees you would double images. Hare Krishna. So, what is that? What is that? So, in the association of devotees, they were playing mrudangas and kartals, chanting the holy name. They spend their time day and night. So, Vishwanath Vardhan and Vrindavan Dastak explains, he is Krishna himself now dancing, chanting his own holy name. How can Puranas explain this? So his holy name is so powerful. Lord Shiva always chants the holy name of Krishna. So the holy name is so potent. Lord Shiva becomes ecstatic just like that. Valmiki chanted that same holy name attained perfection. Ajamil chanted the same holy name attained perfection. Here, if anyone hears the holy name, Krishna's holy name, the shackles of material existence, they'll become free from the cycle of birth and death. The Supreme Lord came for that reason. He appeared in the Kali Yuga, dancing, chanting his own holy name. Hare Krishna. Narada Muni, Sukadeva Goswami, they always chant the holy name. Ananta Sesha has been chanting the holy name, Krishna's holy name, since time immemorial. Right? Why Kali Yuga is great? Why all the sages glorify Kali Yuga as great? Because Sri Chaitanya, Sri Gaura Mahaprabhu would descend and he would spread this Harinam Sankirtan. Kalavadoshani De Rajanasti Ekon Mahan Guna Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Paramrajet. Kali Yuga is ocean of faults, but one good quality. What is that? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended and he has given that holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You're all hearing or not? Can you hear?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
So what is that? Sometimes, as I said, he would exhibit his Krishna's form, he would exhibit different forms, So to spread his holy name, he gave up the bed of Ananta Session. He left the Vaikuntha and descended, he came to spread his holy name in the mood of servant of servant. So he left Vaikuntha, he left his servants, he left the association of Mother Lakshmi. He came, what is that? He came to raise his arms up in the air, chanting and dancing in Sankirtan, performing Sankirtan. And he came to drown himself in that Sankirtan, and he came to drown everyone in that Sankirtan, in that Sankirtan festival. Hare Krishna. But for that, he would come to your door, he would go door to door with utmost humility, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, what Brahma and Shiva. Today, what is that? Our Krishna Bhagavatam is telling Krishna, Brahma cannot even see him, but he's coming to your doorstep. Please chant the holy name. On his order, Nityananda Prabhu would come to your doorstep, asking you, imploring you to chant the holy name, so that you'll go back to Godhead. That is the power of the holy name. Srila Prabhupada left everything to give that holy name to the rest of the world. All the Acharyas, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they left everything to give Krishna to the, on the order of Lord Chaitanya, to give Krishna, they gave up to give Krishna to the whole world. They wrote books. Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Jiva Goswami. There is our parampara. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gave up everything. Narottam Das Thakur gave up everything only to give Krishna to others. Haribol. Rather than, take, we should also give. Because that is Lord Chaitanya's, what is the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Matamidam? That is the religion of Lord Chaitanya. You live for the upliftment of others. So Sri Gaura Mahaprabhu forgets his absolute truth and he begs everyone to take up devotional service. Hare Krishna. Anybody who rejects it, they are most unfortunate. So those who reject Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pleas, reject Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's requests of, he requests everyone to accept bhakti. They're like, they say they're like ass and mules carrying the burden of useless learning. Yes, sir, no? What is the metal world? People work, they live 40 years and they give all the money, they work very hard and give the money to their children. And they leave the world, they'll never meet again. How many of you know who your children were in the previous lives? So Krishna is our father, Krishna is our mother, Krishna is our life savior. Yes or no? So, and sometimes the devotees would chant, Advaita Acharya would dance. And Advaita Acharya would exhibit the ecstatic symptoms, whether Pandit Nityananda would laugh. Whatever ecstasies Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited, they are not mentioned anywhere, nor anyone has ever seen or witnessed them. Like Krishna's universal form, Krishna exhibited four times. Every time it's a different universal form. So likewise, when Lord Chaitanya would exhibit his ecstatic symptoms, you don't find them. And then until Leela, you see, he would become a pumpkin. And the legs and hands, they would go inside like a pumpkin. Where is Krishna? Tam Krishna ye pralaya koti shatantarepi. Sometimes it would become like a stiff statue. No one can even move him. Sometimes it becomes like a butter, soft. If you touch, there is no bones in the body. Sometimes it becomes bigger, 2 times the normal size. Sometimes it becomes frail and thin, small. When he would laugh for 3 hours. When he would cry for 3 hours. Hare Krishna. Sometimes he would call, oh, Balramji, Haldar, Shiva, Sukha, Narada, Prahlad, Lakshmi, Rama, Aja. Aja means Brahma. Uddhav. You would, actually, the devotees, you tell them in your previous life you were this, Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya would say that. Amazing. You would tell them in previous life you're this. In previous life you're this. Now you're this. Very well. So, what is that today we are discussing? What? Mayeva manadatsa. Past 2-3 days I am meditating on this verse. Mayeva manadatsa. Maya buddhim nivesya. Nivesaya. Nivasishyasi mayeva. Athordham samsaya. So, if you, what is that? If you are absorbed in your mind, if you focus on me with your intelligence, my buddhim nivesya. In other words, if you are absorbed in Krishna, you will live with Krishna. Kali is, though Kali is Vaishnava falls one great quality. By chanting the name of Krishna, you can go back to Krishna. By rendering service to Krishna, you can go back to Krishna. Being Krishna conscious, you can go back to Krishna. If somebody is dog conscious, they'll become dog. If you think of Krishna throughout your life, you can go back to Godhead, Haribol. If you meditate on your dog, will become dog, Haribol. Yes or no? Choice is ours. Are you listening?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So time is less. One has to become serious. Let us go back to Godhead. We should understand these are all reality. You want to become a doctor? If you read doctors' books and if you receive training from professors, you become a surgeon. We don't know that because you work 10 years, 15 years. Then you will only perform in the hospital. Yes or no? Somebody becomes a professor. Doing PhD. Electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, they perform certain things we can't. Somebody becomes an engineer, software. So likewise, you have been chanting for 15 years. What you have acquired, others don't have. I have knowledge. So you have gone very far. So continue. You'll go back to God also. You become a doctor, that is temporary. You become an engineer, that's temporary. You become a professor, that's temporary. You become Krishna conscious, that is not temporary, that is permanent. What do you think? You agree or not? Right? So devotees, what is that? So Lord Chaitanya would exhibit all these ecstatic symptoms. He came to give this prema bhakti, Haribol. But the devotees were very happy. 1 year, Lord Chaitanya, they spent 1 year, but they didn't feel anything. Can you imagine not sleeping for 1 year? 1 year not sleeping, what will happen? If you don't sleep one day, next day, like this. But because of Lord Chaitanya's grace, the devotees, they had no problem. They still remain ecstatic. But outsiders had a problem. What happens? You don't get what you want. You become envious. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told her, close the doors. Doors are closed. We want to see Kirtan, open the doors. But devotees were in ecstasy. They can't hear anything. And then people would criticize. That's why one has to be very careful. People pass different comments, which I don't want to speak. But a little bit. Hey, these are beggars. So, for example, you want to come inside, you're not getting opportunity. What you will do? You'll criticize. They're a bunch of beggars. So they don't want others. No. So what is that? So people, if you go inside, we'll see what they're doing, and they'll be ashamed. That's why they close the door. I think they're because they don't have any food. They scream non-stop for hours. Another day said, you don't know what to do. Oh, andar baith ke daru peete hain. They drink wine all night. But daytime they show themselves as great, right? Very pure. That's why they're closing the doors. My pandit was very good before. अच्छा आदमी था. पता नहीं क्या हो गया उनको, बहुत होशियार लड़का था वो. I think this is all because of past karma. Indians that saw this way. Another guy said, no, I don't think so. Father died, there is nobody to guide him, There's nobody to discipline, जब पापा मर जाते तो सब लोग बड़ा हो जाते ना, कोई गाइडेंस ही नहीं. एंड earlier पहले बड़ा स्कॉलर था, पंडित था. अभी क्या है ना, वो ग्रामर वगैरह छोड़ दिया. And it's all bad association. Strivas and all, they're beggars, They don't have anything to do. He may went with them and you ruined everything. Oh, such a great scholar he was. 1 month if you don't keep in touch, everything chala jata, right? Now he forgot everything now. Idle, He married also. Another guy said, no, yeah. You know what happens? These guys, they bring the ladies. They entice them. They drink and do all the nonsense. And illicit activities they do. I'll call the Qazi and I'll have them arrested. He's howling, shouting about Hari Hari. And we have never heard this. And in Chowbur temple, it was surrounded by the homes in the temple because it is what do you call? It's Mumbai, right? One day one guy came to His Holiness Radhanath Swami and said, Swamiji, a lot of sound, lot of nuisance. He thought Maharaj thought he is telling about the construction. I'm sorry, the daytime is a lot of construction. No, I'm not talking about construction. Early morning, 5 o'clock. So much nuisance. Radhana Swami says, this guy came from the books of Chaitanya Bhagavatam directly. He came from the books of Chaitanya Bhagavatam. We should call Kazi and arrest all these guys. This Sri was bah. Another guy said, this madness will not go for a long time. That is how long they will do. They can get them. But devotees were totally absorbed. But outside, it is not Brahmana duties to sing and dance. That is low class. Brahmana means you should set an example. In my point, it is setting a bad example. That's why when people, they go to different Hindu temples, and they'll spend 3 minutes praying, give me this, give me that, 3 minutes over, come down, spend 2 hours in restaurant. Where did you? I went to temple. 2 घंटे से मंदिर में, हाँ 2 घंटा में मंदिर में है, किधर थे मंदिर में? You are listening? So, but when they come to our temple, everyone is dancing. Oh boy, they cannot correlate. And some people think this is something odd. How you felt when you came to temple first time? Dancing and all, what is this? Did anyone feel like that? What is this? Huh? You felt? Only one person? How many of you felt when you came to temple? What is this, all these dances and what is this?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, you mentioned Lord Krishna showed universal form 4 times. In which past time? Krishna showed universal form. One time he was 1 year, Mother Yashoda was, one time Krishna, Krishna yawned. Yes. Mother Yashoda looked into his mouth, and that's when he showed universal. She saw the whole universe. Second time, I think there is a time she was, second time, actually 5 times. She was counting his teeth. Oh, my son got teeth. She opened his mouth and she looked 1, 2, and Krishna, he listened and he saw. Second time she saw the universal. Third time, he ate dirt. Balramji came and complained. Krishna said, I didn't eat. Open your mouth. Yashoda held a stick. Then with fear, Krishna opened his mouth and showed another, all the 3 times. Somebody Murli to everyone inside the present when he was born. That is not universal form, Prabhu. That is Narayana form. Vishnu form. So then the 4th time, that is 3 times over. 4th time, when Duryodhana tried to arrest him, when Krishna went for mediation to stop the war, Duryodhana tried to arrest him. That's when Krishna showed universal form to Dhritarashtra, everyone in the court. 5th time he showed universal form to, and showed universal form on the battlefield. You're listening? If you take the first 2 times in a childhood, only once, if you consider 4 times, if that itself 2 times, 5 times. You're listening?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You are listening intently.
So what is that? One thing is, what Prabhupada has done is totally, That's how people criticized. I mean, there's so much Vishnu words that Vrindavan Das Thakur mentions a lot, but it's all blasphemy. One has to be very careful, we should not, we should be very careful. What is the name? When the stepmother of Dhruva criticized Dhruva, little did she know she was playing with fire. She was, her son was killed, Uttam was killed, she was burnt in the forest fire. Hare Krishna. So two things we tell people in our temple, what is that? Don't criticize others. Follow four agreed principles sincerely. Chant 6 years, minimum 16 rounds. Nobody would stop you if you chant 32 rounds or 64 rounds. In fact, every Saturday we start a 32 round club. I request devotees to join, not the devotees to join actually. So anyway, what is that? Devotees were oblivious actually, what is that? Everyone was criticizing, but one said, you are all telling all these things. People are criticizing left and right. But people are following Nimai Pandit. See the hustle bustle. So many people. In Shiva's Pandit home is like, but there's a festival going on. You people are criticizing like this. But thousands of people are following Nimai Pandit. So, what is that? But anyway, basically, devotees were totally oblivious to this criticism. They continued day and night. Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu danced. Hare Krishna, Govinda, Mukunda, Murari, Vanamali, Haribol. And the Nam Sankirtan was ecstatic. Actually, it is said in larger that 1 year, millennium, so yugas passed in that time. For a devotee is only 1 year. Same thing with Rasa Leela. Krishna and Gopis danced one Brahma's lifetime. The Rasa Leela happened for one Brahma's lifetime. That night, Krishna expanded. One Brahma's lifetime means what? 311 trillion 40 billion years. But Gopis felt it's only moment. That's how the eternity appears. When you go back to Godhead, there's no boring. Your happiness keeps on increasing. Krishna's pastimes are inconceivable. When Radharani sees Krishna first time, she thinks, wow, she sees, I'm seeing Krishna first time. Honestly speaking, I didn't understand this statement. Why she thinks she's seeing Krishna first time? Anadi Ananta Rupam. Krishna Atyam Purana Purusham Navayavanam Cha. He has unlimited forms. He dresses in a very unique way. So, based on every time Radharani's happiness keeps on increasing. And Radharani's happiness keeps on increasing, Krishna's beauty keeps on increasing. When Krishna's beauty keeps on increasing, Radharani's happiness keeps on increasing. For that reason, Radharani's beauty keeps on increasing. For that reason, Radharani's love for Krishna keeps on increasing. When Krishna sees Radharani's love is increasing, Krishna's happiness increases. When Krishna's happiness increases, Radharani's love increases. It is eternal. There is no boring. And after one Brahma's lifetime, you feel like 1 second. Haribol. Because there is one Mahavishnu's Mahabharat anyway. So we deserve that happiness, not like a gulab jamun for 20 years and then you lose all your teeth and to take that, take this sake. Yes or no? One day one gentleman told me, My father lost his first tooth, first teeth actually. He was miserable because he never thought this would happen. Our body is a machine, yantra. Everyone has to lose it. Before you lose the body, you lose the parts of the body. Sometimes screw will fall down, right? What are the screws of the body? Teeth. So what happened one day? What happened? Lord Chaitanya, one day he stopped dancing and he sat on the altar. So there were so many Saligram Salas, he put them on his lap, and he sat on the Vishnu's throne. When he sat on that, it started breaking because of his weight. Immediately Nityananda came and trashed. He held up like this. The moment he came, he touched it. Immediately Nityananda was, that Shakti. So Nityananda became his seat. That's why he didn't crumble. Then he said, loud, he said, I am Krishna in Kali Yuga. I am Krishna, I appeared. I appeared as Krishna, I am Supreme Lord Narayana, fortunate son of Devaki. I'm the Lord Master of the entire creation. I have appeared only for your sake. Whatever food you give, I'll eat. So Shiva said, my Lord, everything is yours. I'll eat everything, bring it. Then Advaita said, yes, that is our good fortune, my Lord. Then devotee started bringing everything. He said, Supreme Lord ate milk, paneer, butter. Give me more, aniyor. What else you have? Bring it. Devotees brought sandesh. What is that? Mystery, coconut milk, grains, bananas, flat rice, chipped rice, everything. And he ate. Give me more. In minutes. As a universal form, he can eat the universes. What is the problem? What else is there? Bring it. Devotees were scared because all the supplies were exhausted. They don't have anything. Then they were worried. My Lord, please, we don't know anything, we don't know how to satisfy you. How can we feed you? You how you hold this whole universe in your stomach. And he said, whatever little bit my devotees give, I'm happy with that. Bring whatever you have. My Lord, whatever we have is little camphor rice. All right, bring it. And they brought whatever rice they had, they give it. Done. They said, Nada. Who is Nada? Advaita Acharya. Nityananda immediately, he's a Supreme Lord. He held an umbrella. And Aditya started offering prayers. Then as soon as he came forward, Aditya Acharya, Sri Gaurama said, ask for a boon. I have incarnated for here. I have incarnated here only because of you. So seeing this, the Lord's transformations, devotees were floating in ecstasy, Hare Krishna. But once he became normal, then he started crying, myself, where is Krishna? Oh brother, you're my brother, oh friend, help me, I don't have Krishna Bhakti, Hare Krishna. Then suddenly he fell down and he became unconscious. Laid on the ground, dead. Hare Krishna. We left the world. Hare Krishna. Then what they did, they start chanting loud kirtan. Then what happened? Immediately jumped up, Haribol! he woke up. He woke up and started dancing again. So the point, the message is, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. So he came to relish the Radha Bhav. At the same time, he came to give that Krishna Prema to others. For that reason, he left everyone. He took sannyas also to just give Krishna to each and every one of us. In the dead of the night, he woke up, he left his family and jumped in Ganga, swam across, went to Katwa just to, so that he can give Krishna to everyone without any obstruction. So if you understand the power of the Holy Prabhupada came to America, okay, if somebody is very pious and you tell him to chant holy name, great. But what is our moment? Somebody is really fallen, very fallen. And you preach to him and he becomes a devotee. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased. Nityananda Prabhu is pleased. Because when it floods, when it rains, low-lying areas will be flooded. That's why Lord Chaitanya gave that grace to hippies, drug addicts. Anybody is humble. If you're humble, you'll get that. You should not waste time. Very little time left. Brahma lives for 311 trillion 40 billion years. Compared to the body, 70, 80 years. We should become serious. Everyone is listening?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
We are listening.
Thank you very much. And let us end it here. And if I've spoken anything wrong, please forgive me. And next week is Balram Jayanti, next Thursday. Next Wednesday, as usual, will continue. And if I've spoken anything wrong, do excuse me as your servant. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai.
Hey.
Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you
Hare
so much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Jai
Hare
Bol.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.